Like, come on now. It's too expensive to do that. So that's why they were filtering it out and reusing it. That is gross. That is gross. I cannot explain to you how gross it is. Acetone is not alcohol, okay? It's not sanitizing anything. It's not disinfecting anything. It literally is a corrosive type of material that's going to, not corrosive, I don't want to say that. It's going to melt plastic, and that's about it, okay? But we don't want to soak our little nasty hands in it, and the nails and all of that. Just think about all the chunks of fingernails and the chunks of whatever was in this bowl that was poured and filtered into that container. I was livid. When I tell you I blew my top, I was so upset. Because, I mean, you should know better. Where did you go to school? Or did you? Yeah. Right? And, you know, I just felt like that should have been common sense. Right? I mean, would you do that? Even though you just now starting school, would you do that? Mm-mm. Without even knowing what you know so far, would you do that? It's
napkin.
Yeah, and then not to mention, you know, when I'm done with these, I hate when they look all gross and ugh. And there's only so much you can do with the plastic bowls. That's why I don't really like plastic bowls. There are certain plastics that you cannot use. Okay, and we're going to talk about that today. So, for our class today, you're going to need a few things, and I have already given you guys this one. Okay, and the reason I've given you this one is because this is the least amount of waste you're going to have when it comes to the acetone. Acetone, it's not that expensive, but when you're pouring bowls of it, and if you're getting rid of it the proper way, does anybody know the proper way to dispose of acetone?
I'll use a napkin and then throw it in the trash.
Okay, what do you mean use a napkin?
Yeah, and I just...
You put it in the bowl, in the acetone, let it absorb, right? So and then throw it away in the trash. Let me tell you what you don't do with it. Never, ever, ever pour it down the sink. Ever. Do not pour it down the sink. If you pour it down the sink, what can happen to the sink? Like mine that I had to replace over here. The plastic pipes. It melted the pipes, y'all. I was so upset when I had to pay a plumber to come in and replace my brand new sinks because a student poured it out. So I'm going to say this again. Do not even if you have metal pipes, do not pour acetone down the sink, okay? We've talked about the FDA and the CDC and all these A, B, C, D, E, F, G companies, right? OSHA. They have rules against this kind of stuff. Another thing you cannot do with it is take it and splash it outside. Anywhere. They catch you. OSHA, let's just say, they walk around and they just watch people, but they don't. But if you are known to throw this stuff out into the grass and on the concrete, out into the sewer or the environment, what's that? What's the problem with that? It's a chemical. We got dogs and cats and birds and bees and flowers in the trees and all of that growing out there, right? We don't want to. You definitely not going to grow no grass throwing acetone out there. Okay, so the proper way to dispose of acetone is to either let it evaporate, because it will. Leave a bowl of acetone out for long enough, and what will happen? It's gone. It's going to disappear. Okay? So the proper way to dispose of it is to either allow it to evaporate, and you can take the bowl and set it. If you got a big, who's doing that? You should not be having a big bowl of acetone. I only brought these bowls out to show y'all what you should use if you're going to use a bowl, because not everybody has this, right? Not everybody has this, which is my favorite. Okay, and there's a reason for it, and I'm gonna talk about that. This one has the separators in it too. Okay, it's got the little. So if I take this apart, and everybody's gonna ask me, why is it two bowls? You see, it's got the little separators in it too. Why is there two bowls? We'll talk about that in a second. All right. Now, glass, metal. Only thing you should be using, unless it is acetone resistant plastic, okay? This is acetone resistant plastic. You know what is not acetone resistant plastic? Your manicure bowl. Put acetone in here if you want to. And what's going to happen, it ain't going to melt right away. It's going to take a lot longer to melt than, let's say, a Tupperware dish. Okay, please don't use your good Tupperware. Don't use my good Tupperware or my Rubbermaid. But it's going to leave this like burned white it looks ugly and it doesn't look clean, right? When you're done and you bring this out and you tell me you're going to soak my hands off and this is all melted, I'm assuming that there's something melted inside, germs and all that stuff melted inside of this from the last person. Think about it, right? It's melted to the plastic. So, acetone resistant plastic. That's what this is for. This is for soaking off. So that way you can clean it, it doesn't melt. Okay? So, these are perfectly fine to use. But if you use them, you need to make sure that you're not wasting your entire jug of acetone. Okay? When you guys do soak-offs at State Board, you cannot even use this. This is a no. Okay? What are we going to use at State Board to do a soak-off? Aluminum foil and cotton balls. And I'm going to tell y'all, it's probably the best way to do it when it comes to the speed, unless you have one of these, okay? This is Salon soaking off. All this over here is State Board soaking off. So your kits, when you get them, you're going to have a bag that has a soak-off bag, because at State Board, only thing you're going to want is the bare minimum. And the bare minimum, because you don't want to confuse yourself, you don't want to have stuff all over your table, the bare minimum is going to be in your soak-off bag a nail clipper, a file, a buffer, cotton balls, a little container of acetone, and some foil. Okay? That's it. Because you have to soak off one fingernail that you sculpted. The one that you sculpted. This is the very last thing you do before the blood exposure procedure. You have to soak off the nail that you sculpted. Okay? So we have a sculpted nail here that has to be soaked off. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that in a few minutes. Okay? We're going to do, this is why this class was, it wasn't just it's a soak-off class. Anybody can do a soak-off. This is a soak-off class on how to pass the State Board, as well as salon-style soaking off, okay? So before I get to the State Board, because that's the most important part, we're going to save the best for last, all right? Before I get to the soak-off for State Board, I want to show you guys the characteristics of this bowl. So this bowl, the reason it's my favorite is because it's double-walled. What you're going to do, and the reason why you want to have a bowl like this, is so that you can put hot water or warm water in it, okay? Why do you think you want to put warm water in the bowl? Why would that help you soak off? What's the purpose of it? It's going to make that acrylic or whatever you have on your nails, which right now I have polygel on my nails. Excuse me, not polygel, Gel-X on my nails, all right? And the only thing I have on, I didn't even adhere it with Gel-X. Found their gel. I used base gel, okay? Which you guys, I've told y'all a million times, you know, these companies, I love them, but they are shady and sneaky. Literally, they will tell you that you need this container of this to make this work, and then it's literally the same thing you have in another bottle from another company. Okay, so what I have on my nails is my soak off gel, okay, foundation gel, and it's a soak off. So what's the difference between soaking off gel and acrylic? If it's soak off gel, now don't get it twisted, there's a such thing called hard gel, and hard gel does not soak off, okay? You have to file it off. But if it is a soak off gel, what is the difference? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, okay? Honey, will you get me hot water out of the hot water, the red hot water? Please, for that. And y'all don't have to use boiling water, okay? But that is hot water that comes, like we use it for coffee, that comes out of that, because I'm not going to do it right this minute. But Miss Sensitive Hands over here, we want to make sure you just use the tap water, which is pretty hot, okay? It comes straight from the gates of hell. I'm telling you, that water is hot. But I did that for a reason, because we do a lot of disinfecting in here and all that stuff, and we grown. We don't have little kids in here. Y'all don't burn your hands with the hot water, okay? So, having that hot water underneath is going to help me soak off these nails faster. Okay? This water is steamy. Take a little bit out, because I feel like it's going to spill up. Just pour it in the sink right there, baby. There's a sink right there. About halfway. I just need my little fingertips to touch, okay? Don't need to be filled all the way to the top. So, we're going to take this hot water, and then we put this inside this bowl, okay? And lock it on. All right, so now it's sealed in there. We don't have to worry about the water coming out, okay? Now, don't shake it too much. Can't guarantee that. But I'm going to show the demonstration in a second, and then you guys will be able to see it big on the big screen too, okay? Now, this is not the same, again, like I said. Now, what you can do, if you don't have one of these, is you can take a bowl like this and put hot water in it and set this in it. Or a bowl like this that will fit in there and put this in it. Double bowl. Y'all ever seen a double boiler? Like with cooking or making cakes or whatever, like cake pops, they melt in the chocolate, you know. I used to bake, y'all. I love baking. So having two bowls, one with warm water, one with your acetone in it, is a substitute to that. Okay? Now, another way to soak off. Let's say you don't have any of these. You don't have nothing. You don't even have a bowl, but you got a damping dish. If you got five, and this is what I like to do, have a little small damping dish whenever I just have a client that has maybe one broken nail and I need to soak it off. Ain't no need to pull all that out, because you know that you pull this out and you still got to put these 5 fingers in here. You got to do some funky stuff, right? With it, it's just, you can do it with just a glass damping dish, okay? And fill that with acetone and just have them sit there with it in their hand. You know, they move around with it. It's just one finger, okay? Now, when we're doing, this is why gel polish on the toes is not my thing to do on clients. I do it on myself. You can do it on yourself. Once you learn how to remove that polish and all that stuff, it's not the gel polish that's a problem, it's the removal. Because who is soaking off people's toes in a bowl? I don't want your feet in my bowl, okay? Who is putting toes in this? You can't put no toes in this, okay? So it's a little bit more of an aggravation, and so people are impatient and they won't do the way they should, which is the foil removal. That's literally the way it should be done. Let's talk about it. It should not be e-filed off if you are not confident in your training of how to remove it. And that is the dilemma that we have with gel polish on the toes. It's not a problem to wear it. I wear it but let me tell you, my gel polish, I still got the red polish on from when I had red nails 8 weeks ago. You remember the red nails? I wore the red nails for like 6 weeks. And then I've had these for 3 or 4 weeks. And my toes are still red. By the time I clip these nails, I'm going to look like I have a red French tip. Because I just don't take it off as often as you would a regular pedicure. Because the removal is such a pain in the butt. Your toes are tiny. You're over here e-filing it and rubbing and scratching, and you cut your toes all around. You know, them little fat little toes. You're trying to remove it. You done scraped off the side of your lateral nail folds. It's bleeding. It's just like, you know, it's just too much. So I don't do it as often. And when you wear gel polish on the toes, let's think about it during the summertime. How often do most people get a pedicure? Let's talk about most people when they go to the NSS salons, you guys.
Every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks. And how often should we do a pedicure? You guys don't know the answers to this, but let's talk about it. How often should a pedicure be done? Realistically. Go ahead, baby.
I think it's
Every 4 to 6 weeks. It's not if you get it done by me, you don't need to come every 2 weeks. Okay? So what you should be doing is getting regular lacquer on the toes. This is why now, how do they sell polish, y'all? Why do they do this?
So you can have the toes and the hands.
Matching. This is the reason for it. Nobody wears regular polish on their hands anymore. Who does that? but you should be wearing regular polish on the toes. And when you guys learn how to properly apply polish when we go over the actual manicure on a human, I don't do it the state board way. When I apply polish on a human, a client, I'm using primer, regular lacquer, dehydrator, primer, all of that for a regular manicure, because it will help with adhesion. Think about it. Even with regular lacquer, okay? There is a reason why. I mean, when I tell you my regular manicures last just as long as a gel manicure, if not better, because it's all about preparation. And we learned about preparation in Saturday's class, right? Deep. So, regular manicure for state board, because you ain't got a real hand on state board, right? You got a plastic hand. Ain't nobody doing all of that. But in real life, and this is why you came to the best school, because I'm not just going to sit here and teach you the bare minimum, because I would be doing you a disservice. And a lot of schools do that. All they want to, they barely teach you state board. They're gonna teach you what's in this book, and that's it. What's in this book is not going to make you a successful nail tech when it comes to the additional continuing education that you need to know when you leave here. Anybody can learn this. You can buy this book on Amazon. And there's still people that want to come and sit in this classroom, but for whatever reason, right? So, the soak off. I broke a nail. And then this one I chipped, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just pull it. Now, what ended up happening? If you look at my nail very closely, and I don't know if we can zoom in this close, but because this nail was kind of snatched off a bit, you can see, ooh, look at that. What is that, you guys? What kind of damage happened to my nails? And I did this on purpose. What I wanted to do was I wanted to show you guys what it looks like to do this right here. How many layers do we have in our nail? Anybody remember? 50 or less. I'm down about 5. And you can physically see them. You see it? Look at you, Selena. You see it, don't you? Look at this one. Now, remember I told y'all the story about my nail injury, did I not? Or did I tell you guys about that, tell the Saturday class about that? I can't remember. I told you guys about how I caught my finger in that commercial door when I was a kid. So this is the nail I was telling y'all about. You see it? I don't have what is that right there on the side? What is that called? This right here.
The lateral nail fold.
This skin is the lateral nail fold. Right here is the nail groove, remember? The groove is where it's tucked down in. My nail groove is non-existent. So what does this look like here on the side? It looks like my nail is growing this way, don't it? Instead of out, straight out. Because there's nothing here to hold that nail down. It is just free. Okay? What happened was, and if you can see, you'll see I have a scar right there. You see that line? There's a scar that goes from here to here, stops right here. And on the other side, a scar from here to there. So my fingertip was cut from here, this side, all the way to this side. And now it was hanging by a little piece of flesh right there. Let's see if I can show you. Let me get in there good. See that line right there? You can see it there from this side and then from here to here. So this little piece of meat, and it was cut all the way across. So I damaged this nail bad. When I tell you I passed out, I was only 6 years old. I passed out. Next thing you know, I was at the prompt care. My mama took me to prompt care. She was like, "It's not an emergency." The surgeon said, the doctor said, "Yes, she's gonna lose her finger. I can't sew this nail back on." So my mama rushed me to the ER, and I'll never forget. This is back in the 80s, y'all. I was hyperventilating, and I was, and the doctor said, "Pow!" right across my face. My mama almost fell out her chair, but you know what? This was the 80s. You can get away with that stuff back then. He said, "Calm down. Can't do nothing if you're crying like that." I was so, and I straightened up real quick. But this was the 80s, y'all. Back in 1980, 86, 87. Okay? So, my nail, look at, you guys see how damaged that nail is? Look at that. I can literally peel back, if I take my, look at that, and pull back layers of this nail. Okay? That is why we do not rip nails off. What's the first thing you guys, when they doing your nail, and you go to the nail salon, first thing they want to do is they want to take a nail and just stick it up underneath there like this. Take a tip and go under there and just y'all ever have them use a business card on you? Or a credit card? A plastic card to try to, it does not feel good. And if you pull just right, you could pull all the way to the sidewall where the nail groove is and actually make you bleed, because that groove is tucked down in there, right? So once you start bleeding, what's the deal once you start bleeding? Okay, no nail service for me. Supposed to be, right? Now we got to do a blood exposure procedure, put a Band-Aid on it, wrap the finger so it's not exposed to anything the proper way, okay? So soaking off the nails properly is very important. Imagine doing this, because I done it. Had gel polish on my toes. I just want to peel it and just peel the whole thing off. You're like, toenails so thin, it done got thin. Now, your toenails take how long to grow back? Does anybody know?
Was it 9
A
months?
full 9 months to a year. And if you're elderly or older, it could take 2 to 3 years to grow fully back. Ain't nobody got time to be waiting for their toenails to grow back, because you want to pull them off and not be patient. So using regular lacquer on the nails is ideal, okay, on the toenails. And removing gel polish, if you're going to remove it, you need to do it the state board way on toenails, okay? Everybody understand that? So I'm going to show you guys the best way to remove. I'm going to need you to zoom out just a bit, dear, because it's too close. So what I have here is my bowl, my soak-off bowl, okay? You guys have this, all right? The first thing I want to do, you get me a towel. You want to have something on your surface here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sanitize my table, right? I want to sanitize my table, make sure that it is clean and prepared for me to do my service on my client. So I'm going to use some Rejuvenate wipes here. It's just a really, really good brand. And it's made specifically for salons and spas, okay? Let me wipe it down. So we're going to remove any of, sanitize my table. This is what you guys have to do at State Board, right? You must sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. It's so important. Remember that we're going to remove our glove the right way by not touching the wipe. Now, let me just tell y'all, Rejuvenate wipes are really awesome. You can actually, these are hydrogen peroxide. And these are much better for salon use rather than hospital grade stinky chemicals and all that stuff. But we'll talk about that another time. All right. So before, and then I'm going to set up my towel here, and I've got a big one. This one actually has this one's got my monogram on it. But I don't know how it got mixed up in my towels here, so we ended up just using it as a school towel. Okay, so before now these two are gone. They done, right? They're done. Before I start to remove my nails here, what do I need to do first? Am I just gonna dunk my hands into some acetone?
Cut them down.
Right, we're gonna cut them down. I wanna cover up my computer good because I wanna get dust on it, okay? So we need to cut these nails down. And again, like I said, we're going to talk about the state board way, and we're going to talk about real life. So what do I need to remove my nails to cut them down? What do I need? I need a nail clipper, okay? I recommend using not the little small nail clippers that are for fingernails, right? Because this is an enhancement. Excuse me, an extension, not an enhancement, an extension. So it's going to be thicker than, especially if it's acrylic, it's going to be thicker than a natural nail, right? So unless you want your nail, your stuff to break, because you can break one of these real easy, especially with some thick toenails, you want to use a bigger, stronger one. All right. Now, if you look at my fingernails here, you guys can zoom in. I'm trying to save my little fingernails. I had grown this one out. It was growing out because I eventually want to take these nails off and just do a natural nail manicure with a gel overlay. Okay. If you look at my nails, you can see that they are growing, right? You can see, and I want to, and Gel-X is really good for helping you grow your nails out. But you can see the little white part. Can we zoom in a bit? You can see the little white part, which is called what?
The little free edge.
Thank you, the free edge. So I don't want to cut it down low because I want to keep that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing. Go ahead and clip right there above it. Okay, so that I still have my little free edge there. All right. I'm going to do the same thing on all these nails. Go ahead and clip it. And notice that I'm clipping from side to side. Don't try to just do this right here and just clip the whole, good luck getting it in there. Clip the whole fingernail off, all right? Or try to chop the whole fingernail off. Go from one side to the other. Now, when you're doing acrylic nails, what you're going to hear is ping, 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 because they're going shooting across the room. So you want to be careful when you're doing, I'm going to show you this. I can do this with an e-file. We are going to do this with a hand file. Okay. E-files, we're not quite there yet when it comes to e-file trading. All right. So I got all my little nails here, right? They're going in the garbage. Throw them away. Get them out the way. So now I've got these short fingernails that need to be removed. So what's the next step after I have shortened the nail to make my job a little bit easier? Remember, I have gel polish on. Well, I've cut them down as far as I want. So when you say file them down, what do you mean? Right. So remember that gel polish, when you're using a gel top coat, it's like a seal. My top coat is called Ultra Gloss and Seal. So it has a shiny, unpenetrable top. Okay. So if I just take me some acetone, which now I'm going to take some acetone, you guys. This is pure acetone. Why would we use pure acetone and not polish remover? Polish remover does not have enough acetone in it. It has just enough acetone to remove lacquer, but not enough to soak off nails. If you go to Sally's, or not Sally's, you go to CVS and get you one of those little bottles of acetone, pure polish remover that, you know, Granny got in her cabinet to take her polish off, you're gonna be soaking forever if it comes off at all. All right. So I'm gonna take some acetone, and I only want to put enough to fill up my wells. Enough for my finger. I don't need this to the top, and I don't even need it in the thumb, do I? Because I already got the thumbs gone, right? So I filled up my wells here. Notice I got it just for those 4. First thing I want to do is I want to remove the top coat. Now let's talk about this. This is soak off can be done on gel manicures, Gel-X, gel nails that are soak off gel, acrylic, okay? Polygel cannot soak off polygel. Polygel is usually a hard gel, okay? I have not run across any soak off polygels yet. There could be some, but I haven't seen any yet. So this process is the same no matter what. Okay, it's not different just because you're doing acrylic nail versus a gel X. All right, so the first thing I want to do is take a file. Remember, when we're filing, we want to make sure that we season this file. What does seasoning a file mean?
Sharp edge,
there you go. You want to remove that sharp edge. So I'm taking my buffer and I'm removing that sharp edge. Okay, because I don't want to cut myself. Do it on all 4 sides, because you're probably going to use all 4 sides, just not knowing, not knowingly. So make sure that it's not sharp. Why is that important? Where would we cut you normally if we accidentally cut our client? Usually it's the side walls and the lateral nail folds and the PNF, right? So we want to be very careful not to cut the client. So what you want to do is you want to remove the top coat. Let's just say that this is just a gel manicure. Now underneath here, there's a lot of gel that I use to adhere this nail. But let's just say this was a gel manicure and I only had how many layers? 4. What would be my layers with a gel manicure?
The base,
base,
2 coats, and the top.
2 coats of polish, and the top. Now the top coat needs to be etched. And why do we need to etch it? What's happening? It's absorbing the acetone. Top coat is normally not easy to remove if you don't go ahead and crack the seal. Okay, that's what the term we're gonna use, cracking the seal. So if I just put this in here and soak, it'll soak off, but it's gonna take a long time. It's gonna take a while, much longer than you are gonna want in your salon. Remember, time is money in the salon. So I don't want to waste my time because I'm wasting my money. The more I sit here and play around with a soak off, the less time I got to do nails. All right. So if you notice, I just put this in the acetone and look, it's still shiny. The top coat is still shiny because the acetone, it's getting to the underneath part and it's getting all around, and you'll see that the acetone that's a little too close. The acetone is going to yeah, I need to see my hand. The acetone is going to soak off underneath and it's going to soak off around, but the top will still be shiny. That's perfect right there. I was like, what's going on? You done fell asleep. Ooh, that zoomed in.
Them diamonds throwing off my auto zoom.
All right. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to etch the top coat, especially on a gel manicure. Do not go past the first layer of polish, right? You can get down to the foundation layer, which is the base, but be very careful. There's no need really to do that once you remove the top coat, because it's going to soak off pretty fast. All right, once you remove the top coat. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this on myself here. Notice even with my own nails, I'm pushing back my side walls, pushing them back. I'm going to find this middle part. There we go. Boom, boom. All right. So I'm pushing back my side walls so that I don't do what? I'm using both my fingers. That's right. So I won't cut myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand file here, and this is 100 grit and an 80 grit on the other side. No, it's both 100 grit. Excuse me, 100 on both sides. Okay. What grit do we not want to use? 80 grit. Okay, this is 100 on both sides. So do not use anything that's too rough, because you are guaranteed you're going to nick that cuticle area. You're going to nick the PNFs. You're going to nick the lateral nail folds. Okay, so be very careful. So notice that I got the blue polish. It's already, I've gotten past already. If I've got blue polish on there, what does that mean? I've penetrated the top coat. Okay, so I'm just going to etch. And I can etch this all over, okay? Go ahead and remove all of that top coat if you can, okay? Be very careful around the cuticle area. Notice that I'm taking my time and being very, very careful around that area, because I don't want to cut my client. Once you cut them, over with. Can't do no service. You should not do a service on somebody when they've got open cuticles. See what happened to Jerry. Okay. We don't want that. Now, you can go as far as, look, it doesn't take long. Etching down to, because this is a Gel-X extension, doesn't take long. It's not hard to do. Remove that gel polish completely down to that acrylic, that plastic tip. And you guys fall for it if you want to. What is that tip? It's a soft gel, right? What is soft gel? An acrylate. It is an acrylic, and it is absolutely just plastic. 100% just plastic. Okay? Soft gel, my foot. All right? So, remove that. Now I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to leave one of these. I'm going to leave it alone because I want to show you guys how much faster this will soak off versus one that has been etched and removed as much as possible. Okay? What's the difference between this and an acrylic removal? Nothing. The only difference that I would say is that you need to etch further down. You need to remove more of the product. And the reason you want to move more of the product is so it can move a little faster. Okay? If I've got an extra thick nail, which you shouldn't, right? But if I got an extra thick nail, I don't want to just remove the polish. I want to remove as much of the product as I possibly can. And that's why when I say at State Board, you want to file for your life. File as much of that product off as you can because you only got 20 minutes to remove it. Okay? So, we got one nail that I have removed all the polish. You don't have to remove it all. Just get as much as you can. With a Gel-X extension, this is soft gel. It should soak off very quickly. Now, what you do want to have, you guys, is, and I forgot to mention this, is a nylon brush. A nylon brush to be able to dust off any of your dust so you can see what's going on. Okay? Now, this one, I'm going to show you guys how to remove with, so I'm going to have a couple of things going on here. We're going to put one in, we're going to leave this one out, and we're going to, that's why I like these bowls. You can leave this one out and put some foil with a cotton ball on it, okay? So you guys can see the difference. We'll soak them all at the same time, okay? Before I go in the water. So what I'll do is, when you're doing the foil method, and this is what you have to do at State Board, okay? And this, you guys, you know where this foil came from? It's literally kitchen foil, okay? But this is the kind you can get from Sam's for when you get a hot dog at the fair. They pull it out and they put it in there, right? This is what I use for you guys because I can get it in bulk. But this is way too big. So what am I going to do to it? I'm going to cut it. All right, you can tear it if you want to, okay? But just cut it. And how big do we want it to be? We want it to be big enough to wrap around the finger, okay? Now, the neater that you do this, the more uniform you do it, the better, okay? So when I say, what I mean by that is, don't just take the foil and just ball it around somebody's finger, okay? Wrap it nicely, okay, so that you can unwrap it nicely and take a look. And so this is what about the size you want. Now they have those really cool ones, right? That already have this little tiny little pap of, it looks like one of these. Right. It looks like this, right? But it's about this thin. Let's see. Let's put it on here. Let's talk about it. This is how it looks. It'd be this big, right? And it's glued to the paper. I bought those when we first opened the school. And we still put cotton balls on the nail. Okay. So you could do that if you were doing, let's just say a gel manicure. That's thin enough, right? You could absolutely do that. But remember, acetone is going to absorb or evaporate very quickly. Okay. So this little tab right here, it wouldn't be enough for me for this Gel-X, but try it. You know what I'm saying? See how much, because the more you waste these things, these non-white things they're expensive. They're not cheap. Okay. But this is about the size you want right here. Okay. So before I do this, I need to etch this one, just the top coat as well, right? Go ahead, remove the top coat. I'm going to remove as much of the blue as I can. Okay. So that we have a equal race here. We don't want to be, giving any advantages to the other team. Okay, so anybody have a favorite way to soak off? Y'all been soaking off your nails? Any of y'all soak off? What's your favorite way to soak off?
Aluminum foil so far.
I only did one way, a bowl.
The bowl with full of acetone? Right, that but what did you do with your acetone when you were done with it?
What they did.
Or what? Oh, that was you. They did it. You just saying your favorite way was to do it that way. It's kind of fun to put it in that bowl of acetone because it feels cool. It's like that cold feeling. I'm gonna take off my rings, y'all, because I don't want to get. I don't want to.
Have rhinestones, will you do it the same way?
Yes, but you would pluck the rhinestones off first. Pluck the rhinestones off first. That's an advanced technique there, and you better have you some goggles on when you do that. Okay. So I'm going to put this one in the foil. This one I'm gonna leave bare. I'm just gonna put it dead in the acetone and show you how slow it soaks off. Okay. So I've removed most of my polish here. Let me get it off. I want to be fair. Ooh, my little nails done grew. They look all pretty. Look at that. I grew some nails. I grew a few nails. I broke this one. We'll have to fix that. Be very careful around your cuticle. Okay. So now I've removed all of that. Let's see. And then this one we're going to leave bare. And this one, we'll just soak it off too. Okay. Because you already see what happens when you peel the nail off. Don't want to do that. Now, before I go into this acetone, let me point out a couple of different tools that are available. So how are we going to scrape this off? Because it's gonna come off because we're using EMA and not MMA. It should flake and just fall to the bottom of the bowl. But if it was MMA, what would it do? It'll look like it just will get gummy and sticky, and it just will never come off in little flakes. It tries to come off in one piece. And God forbid you use an e-file. Your e-file gets all gummed up with stuff and it's a mess. So, and I mean, it's not meant to come off completely. So you're probably going to have quite a bit of acrylic MMA left on the nail plate so that you don't destroy your nail plate trying to get it off. Okay. So this one's going in bare. We're just going to soak the rest of these off, and then we'll put foil on one of these. Okay. So that we can have an equal race. All right. So I got my foil here. This is a really handy tool. I like it. It's just, nothing special. We can do the same thing that we're going to do with this with a metal cuticle pusher or a wooden pusher. No different, okay? At State Board, you're going to use a wooden cuticle pusher, okay? And a wooden one is disposable, and that's the only reason why you would want to use that. I'm not sure where they are in there, the pushers. But you would want to use something that you can throw away so that it's easier for you to get up out of there when you've finished, right? This one has to be what? Sanitized or sterilized after use, after each client use, right? So a little bit more work. If you're going to be throwing this stuff away, just throw it all away. Yeah, just give me one, dear.
What is it called?
So this right here, it's a gel polish remover tool. Okay, I think I have a few of those that I bought from Atlanta to bring if y'all wanted to buy one. So our cuticle pusher, our wooden one, can just be thrown away. Okay, no difference in the way it's going to remove. Now, what I want you guys to remember you have layers of nail plate here. You do not want to be scraping like you're trying to scrape off your sins, okay? You want to be careful when you're pushing, gently pushing and removing, all right? So, here we go. How are we going to apply this before I put this in the bowl? How are we going to apply it? We're going to take and this is what you're going to do at State Board. You do not need to take a cotton ball this big. More is not better. Because at the end of the day, you just need the cotton ball to absorb the acetone. So if I'm just going to pick whichever nail. I'm going to pick this one. So what you're going to do at State Board is you're going to cut that nail down, remove as much as you can. I'm going to demonstrate it on here, on the hand in a second. But you're going to take the finger, lay it on here, and you do this with your clients as well. Go ahead and apply your cotton ball to the nail here, and we're going to saturate it, because I'm doing this one-handed, y'all. Saturate it with acetone. Lay it on the nail there. Okay? If you can, spread it out so that it's underneath the nail as well. Okay? If you got a little bit of a free edge. Then I'm going to take my, and you're going to wrap it up like a nice little gift. Why? Because you got to open it up and check it. Okay? Don't be tempted to do this. Just, how you going to open that? You're just going to make a mess. All right? So don't be tempted. Look, it's already started to soak. Look at my cotton already sitting there. So what I'm going to do is do this again. Okay? I'm going to take some cotton. Spread it out a little bit. I'll lay that on the nail. Take your acetone. You just want to saturate it. Saturate it. Now, remember, at State Board, you're doing this on a plastic hand with no warmth. I'm going to take my foil here, wrap it over, and then fold it over again very neatly. This is actually a lot of foil. You really don't need this much, okay? So that I can unfold that. Now, remember, at State Board, I'm not going to have a human hand. It's going to be a cold, dead hand, right? So what am I going to do at State Board when I'm waiting for them 20 minutes to pass and praying to God that I get it off in 20 minutes? Put your hand on that hand. You're going to take this hand and you're going to put some heat on it. Just sit there and wait. This is going to be the most boring part of the State Board because you're going to sit there and you got to wait.
20 minutes.
Well, hopefully you get it done before 20 minutes.
When she say what, 10?
She's going to tell you at 10 that you have 10 minutes remaining. So how many times you going to check it? A lot. A lot. That's why you want that nail to be. And remember, you're going to have a little bottle. You ain't going to have this big old bottle of acetone. It's not going to be necessary. And remember I said you have a big bottle, you're probably going to waste a big bottle. Right? So you're going to have a little small container of acetone. And you want to make sure that you don't use it all up. So don't squeeze so hard you squeeze the acetone out of the cotton ball. Okay? So that's going to be, you're going to be holding that for the heat. Remember, we got heat here, right? So now I'm going to sit here in this bowl. Let me just make sure I got enough to cover my fingers. You want to make sure you got enough to cover the fingers. Okay? And I'm going to wait. And at State Board, I'm going to check. Keep checking and keep checking. Keep checking. You're going to take this finger out. And this shouldn't take long with a Gel-X. How long, if they're giving you 20 minutes, what does that mean? How long should it take to soak off, let's just say maximum, to soak off a set of nails? About 15, 20 minutes. If it's taking you an hour, what does that probably mean? MMA. Or you didn't soak off or remove enough of the product. Now, this can absolutely be done with an e-file. And when I do it with an e-file in my salon. Okay? Time is money. I'm going to use an e-file drill bit that has, it's probably two times coarse. Please don't get a 4, 5, 6 coarse, y'all. I'm going to chop somebody's finger off. They literally look scary. Like a drill bit from Home Depot. Okay, for concrete. Don't get those. I know they sell them. They sell a lot of things that are illegal. We ain't gonna go there. Okay. So we're gonna check this. And when you're doing two hands, because y'all know I'm leaving this for y'all, right?
What? Oh, you gonna soak it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, each one of y'all. Gonna soak off one of my fingernails. It's perfect, only 4 of y'all here today. All right. Each one of y'all gonna do one of these nails the State Board way. Okay? Without hurting me. Making me bleed. Alright? So, when you got two hands going, that's why you want to have two bowls if you're a nail tech that's, doing clients. When you got two hands going, then that means one can be soaking off and you're scraping the other one. Okay? So what I like to do is while this one's soaking, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Don't foul off both hands and wait. Do one hand, put it in the bowl. Now work on this one. Start filing and removing and all that stuff, so that by the time you're done with this one, guess what? This one's ready to scrape. See what I'm saying? It's a cycle. Okay? So we'll pretend that I'm on my other hand right now, and I've done it, and now I'm gonna check this. Now when I pull this out, y'all, you're gonna see, and if you can zoom in here on this one hand here, let me see if I can pin this right here. Add pin. Oh, okay. Okay, I can't have this view right
Yeah,
here.
you can't have that view.
Okay. All right. Not a fan. Let me unpin this. Remove pin. There we go. That's blurry. Very. Okay. So, and that.
Hold on.
So when I take this out, look, it's shiny. And look, it's already starting to come off. I need a view of just this for them. That two view is not necessary. So look how it's sliding off the nail already. And for the folks that are on Zoom, y'all's replay will be much clearer than this. I mean, much clearer. Okay. So when I get ready to pull this off, you can use your orange wood stick to pull this off. Remember, this is gel, so this is like a plastic. It kind of looks like MMA, don't it? It's the plastic tip melting. Look at this one. Same thing. It's already almost gone. Look at there. See how easy it's coming off? Look how easy it's coming off. Okay. Now this tool here makes it a lot, but look at this one. Look at it.
Still intact.
It's still fully intact. It ain't soaked, it ain't budged, it ain't moved. Y'all see that? So now you understand why it's important to remove the top layer of top coat. It's so important. So important. Okay, again, for the folks on Zoom, the view will be much better on the replay. It's super clear. Okay, so I'm going back in, and I'm gonna go in for that, and now I'm gonna check. Now this is our state board nail. Okay, I'm gonna unwrap that baby. So blurry, so blurry. I wish you could back up and zoom in with it. Like back this up and zoom in, because if you're too close, it's definitely not gonna be clear. There we go. All right, so I'm unwrapping it. Just tell me what I see. Unwrap it. I'm gonna pull this back and look at that. Use my orange wood stick here. Look how easy that has come off, y'all. It's literally almost off. So, but at state board, it's not all the way off yet. I want to soak it some more. So I'm just checking it, and I'm removing all the stuff, kind of scraping off the stuff that is loose. Okay. Look at how it's just coming off like that. So easy. All right. But it's not all off yet. So I'm going to put this here. Add some more acetone to it, and I'm going to wrap it back up. My hand is a human hand, so it's going to be nice and warm. Okay? All right. Still soaking. That's perfect. Look. Look at the blue nail. Look at it. She's still just a shiny. Top coat ain't went nowhere. It's not moving. But look at this. Scraping right off. And my natural nail is still healthy and intact. See that? Look at how this one has swole up and just kind of Hello. Good morning, Augusta Fire Department. Okay. Look at that. Now, I can go ahead if I want to. I don't want to ruin my file, because if I go ahead and start scraping this off with my file, it's going to gum up on my file. So I like to let it sit for a little bit longer. But do you guys see how this one is not budging? It is not. It ain't even budged from under here. It is fully, it looks the same as it did. And I swear there's acetone in there. Y'all see it. It looks the same as it did when I first started. Okay. So now I'm going to go back in. So this is why I go from hand to hand doing this same thing. This one will have a few minutes to soak while I'm scraping the other one, and vice versa. Okay. Time is money. Time is money. All right. So now I'm going to check this one. I'm going to check it. Open up your little gift here. And this is what you're going to do at State Board. You're not going to have the soak-off bowl at State Board, but you are going to do this exact same thing what I'm doing right now. Okay? Look how it's coming off so easily. See how that's gumming up on there? You're going to want to try to get that off. All right. And when I'm doing that, I usually take it and just let it sit in the bowl while I'm working on the other hand, if I'm filing or something, and it'll come off. So I'm almost done here. Now at State Board, you're going to ask me how much, because I had a student and I was just kind of like, I know you didn't just ask me that, but I'm trying to be nice because there's no such thing as stupid questions, but stupid is as stupid does, as Forrest Gump says. All right. Wrap that back up. She said, do I have to remove the entire nail from the hand? Do I remove just the acrylic and leave the plastic tip?
No.
It's gonna come off anyways.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute. Are you asking me that you're going to soak off the acrylic and leave the plastic tip underneath? How? So what I'm trying to say to you is that you need to soak this nail off to the brand new, just like you got it before you glued the tips on it. Okay? Nothing there. Now, what are they looking for at State Board? They are looking for, did you tear up the cuticle area? This is why you need a new nail when you go to State Board. Because you're going to be filing and filing and filing. And if you tear up around here, around the lateral nail folds, if you tear that up, it is going to look like that's what you're going to do to your client's hands and when you go to work, right? So that's what you don't want to do. You don't want that. You want it to look nice and brand new, like as if you took a lot of care to that client's fingernails. Okay. So now let me take this out. Yo, what y'all think? You think the blue one started to move yet? Look at it. Just as shiny, brand new. But look, I've just about got this all the way off. It's gone. Okay. This one too. It's completely gone. It's just kind of hanging on to the tip of my nail there. Okay. So what I'm going to do to get the rest of it off, look at all that. See, and again, this was Gel X. This is not acrylic. It's trying to, now why would it be trying to hang on to my tip versus the back of my nail? Why did it come off quicker on the back of the nail, meaning the nail bed versus the free edge?
That's the way it's falling, I guess. It's falling.
Think about the heat distribution. My nail is warmer, the nail bed is warmer than the tip. Okay? So that's why you want that warm water in the bottom, because it's going to help make everything come off all at one time. But it's not uncommon for the tip to still have more product on it than the rest of the nail because the tip is cooler. The tip doesn't have the temperature that the nail bed has. Okay? Now, it's a shame that this ain't moved at all, but that's very, 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 that tells you how good my top coat is, don't it? That Ultra Gloss and Seal, baby, it is on there. Now, what you can see starting to happen is around here. Around here, it's starting to lift up. It's starting to look a little like it's soaking off. But everything on top, all of that, and that's because that's the cuticle area, right? I don't put top coat all down in my cuticle, do I? Down in the PNF when I lay my top coat when I'm doing my polish, right? So it's starting to lift away from that area, but my top coat is still on there. And it has not been penetrated, okay? So let's check this one. That's too close. It's so blurry for the Zoom people. There we go. Perfect. That's better. All right. Opening it up. And we will say that this is completely gone. I would say it is all the way off. So what will we do at State Board? Once we've removed all the product that we can get off, now I've pretty much removed all the product that I can get off, even in the soak-off bowl. Which one was faster?
Don't look for me.
I think these three did the same time. Think about, let's look at it. They look the same as far as how much has been removed. Now I'm going to take my hand file and I'm just going to remove the last little bits of this nail, the product off of my nail. And remember, I'm doing this on myself, so I'm being a little stiff so y'all can see. Okay, look. You'll see when you do not want to file too much because when you get down to the nail plate, what does it look like when you get down to the nail plate? Anybody know? It'll look like you're scraping layers of nail off, okay? It will look like it when you file down too far down into the nail plate. Look at my little nail, y'all. I done grew some nails, y'all. I done grew some nails, and you can see just a little. So remember when you do Gel X, it kind of spills out. There's that little blub of gel right there on the tip of my nail. Look how pretty. Look how clean. And my nail is strong. Look at that. It's not bending. It's not flexing. Okay? Again, y'all, for the folks that are on Zoom, it will be much clearer to replay. Our replay is pristine over here. Okay, look at that. And what's still there? That blue one ain't budged. It hasn't budged. All right. So I could probably soak this a little bit more. I could if I wanted to, but I really don't. At State Board, what they want to see you guys do is remove all the product, and so that this finger is bare. Okay, it needs to be bare. Now, if I were doing a client's nails, and let's just say I was soaking them off just to put another set on. Do I need to remove every single bit of the product if I'm going to put the same product right back on? I wouldn't. Because I'm trying to preserve my client's natural nail. I don't want to destroy their natural nail by just being like, let me get every bit of it off. Now, if the client said, I'm going to take it off, I want to completely remove it because I want to do a whole nother type of product. I want to do gel. I don't want to do, so I probably would try to remove every bit of it. And you can. When you will know that every bit of it has been removed. When I pull it out of this container, I will know every bit of it has been removed by there will be no shininess to it. It will look, you know how your nails look when you take them out of acetone and everything's off of it, they look a little dull and dry. When I come out of here and if I take it out right now and it's still got a shiny spot, which I pretty much got it all off. I don't see any shiny spots. There's a couple. but you'll see a shiny spot, and that's going to be your product still on the nail. Okay? How y'all feel about it? Well, that didn't take long. I mean, what have we been recording now for? I don't even know. I can't even tell. For a few minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Once I started. So that soak off is what you have to do at Stay Bored. Okay? So now, I'm going to take this hand out of here. And when I'm done, and I get ready, and if the client just wanted to remove the product completely, I don't want to just leave it like this. Rough and ugly. We want to buff it and try to remove and all that extra product, because you can see it kind of flaking off, and give that client, see there it's starting to come off a little bit more. I still had a little bit on the tip, but make sure it's nice and smooth so the client is not trying to pick at it, because I know I'm a picker. Let me put my hand here so I can stay in the frame. Remove that product this way. Okay, and smooth out the free edge so it's not rough. All right, now if I wanted to do a manicure on this client, I could. Preserve the client's natural nail as much as possible. Okay, and then take some acetone and just clean off the nail plate. Get all that dust off of there. And there we go. Not too bad, huh? Still got my nails. Still there. Y'all see them? That's still a little bit of gel left on there. But I'm putting another set right back on here. Okay. Probably not today. I'm probably gonna do a gel manicure, call it a day. But look at this blue one still here. Still shiny. It ain't went anywhere. So now you guys understand the importance of doing the gel, etching the gel top coat, right? All right. So, how are we gonna do this on the mannequin? Got to do the foil, right? So the first thing I would do at Stay Bored though is I would either hand file this down really, really fast and quick, because you got to remember that you've only got 20 minutes and all of this is acrylic. You did a sculpted nail. So this is going to take a long time, lot longer to soak off than a Gel X nail, okay? You want to etch and remove as much of this product as you can, okay? I would not clip the nail first. Don't even worry about that, okay? If you clip it and go ping all over, that's not, you don't do that at Stay Bored, okay? Smooth out. So if I'm telling you that you need to make this nail as thin as possible, what does that tell you that you need to do when you lay this acrylic for your sculpted nail? Lay it as thin as possible. This is not a nail that a client is walking out with, okay? This is a Stay Bored nail. So does it matter if it breaks in 2 weeks? No. What matters is that you got that acrylic on there, you got a nice little short square nail, and that you pass that Stay Bored. Do not make this nail thick. Try your best not to make it thick, because you got to soak it off. So if you got to sit there and for 10 minutes, that is not going to be good, okay? So we want to file as much of it as we can to thin it out back here, okay? That's most important. Get it down and be careful not to tear up the client's nail, lateral nail folds in the P&F. Be careful not to do that.
They take points off.
Yes, they will take points off.
So it was just like looking at it.
They gonna watch. They watching you now. Okay. Now once I've thinned it out, I can clip it. Now watch your eyeballs. Okay. Now I can dust this off. State board. I'm going to take, because I got 2 hands now. I can do this with 2 hands. I'm going to take this, put it up under here. Apply my cotton ball. Right? Put on my acetone. Make sure it's nice and saturated, y'all. And then I'm going to fold it up. Make sure it's on the nail. Fold it up like a nice little present. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to wait. Hold some heat on it. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to wait. It's for a few minutes.
Oh, 5 or just 1?
You only going to have 1 finger that you got to do at state board. 1 finger. Okay? So we sit there and we wait and we wait. Now, when she gets to 10 minutes, you ought to be filing and removing a lot of that acrylic, okay, at 10 minutes. If it does, so you can't wear a watch. Remember, you can't wear a watch. You can't have a phone. You can't be keeping time any kind of way. So the only time you'll know what time it is when she tells you have 10 minutes remaining. Okay? At 10 minutes remaining, if you're not going ahead and filing and removing all that polish off of there, that acrylic off of there, then you're probably not moving fast enough. All right. So what we do is we're going to check it. I haven't had it on long at all, but you're going to check it and you're going to look, it's already coming off. You see it? Starting to peel back. Can we zoom in some? Should put that on the tripod. Okay, so that's not enough, so we're going to put it back on there and file it and let it sit again. Y'all see what's going on here? All right, that's why at state board all you have is a pusher, a file, and a buffer, because once this is gone, you're going to need to make that nail smooth. It don't need to be gummy and sticky and all that stuff. Let me tell you what will be the best thing ever. Now, don't make a big scene out of this if this happens to you at state board. Just say, thank you, nail gods. Thank you so much. The best thing ever would be for the whole nail to come off in one piece because you didn't glue it on as good as you probably should have. All right? But that don't mean do your tips on, because you don't know which finger. At state board, they don't tell you which finger. You don't know which finger you're going to have to sculpt. God forbid you got to sculpt on a pinky or a thumb. Let's pray it's the middle finger. I always make you guys sculpt the pointer finger because it's easier to get that form around the pointer finger. But when you get ready at state board, they're going to say you need to sculpt the nail on the index finger. I hope you know which one is the index finger. Right? Now, you're going to say pointer finger. They're going to use the proper terms. Ring finger, middle finger, index finger, pinky, and the thumb, right? So, whatever finger they choose, it would be very nice if it just pops off all in one piece and you don't have to buff, file, nothing, scrape, nothing. But if it does, you just sit there quietly and hold it there as if it's still soaking because they'll think you cheated. All right? Like you didn't barely put it on there. Maybe you used some Elmer's glue to stick it on there or something, right? That would be cheating. They're going to check your hand when you walk in the state board. They're going to check it to make sure that those hands are glued on properly. So don't try to do no sneaky stuff, all right? That would be a good idea to put Elmer's glue. But don't do it, okay? All right, so keep checking, keep checking, keep checking. So everybody understand how soak off should be done properly and why it's important to do it properly? Because we don't want our nails shredded up like this. That's ugly. And in order for me to smooth that out, guess what I got to do? I've got to file down my nails to meet that layer down there. And that might be 3, 4, 5 layers that I've got to file off to make it look decent. I ain't going to do that. I'm going to leave it just like it is and put some Gel X right over it. Or another product right over it. But that's not how we as nail technicians should be doing. You see how it's coming off? So that's what we doing at State Board. Okay? Remove the entire nail. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not going to keep going, but you guys get the point. Okay, we already did this on a human hand. Mine. Everybody get it? It's so, State Board is not hard, y'all. It's not. But there's certain things you have to do and certain things you cannot do. Okay? Like I said, you can't show up with this. You can't show up with an e-file. You can't show up with, soak off bowl or a little dampened dish to soak your nail. You just can't do that. You've got to do the foil method. Okay? And the foil method, you need to learn that for what? Which surface? Gel on what? Toes. You need to do this with toes. Okay? Until you are comfortable with an e-file, and even with the e-file, you shouldn't be filing it down to the nail plate. You're going to have a little bit of gel, base gel on there, so you should remove as much of the polish as you can and then do the foil method. Okay? Because you're going to thin those toenails out. What happens to thin toenails? What kind of disorder can you create for yourself if you thin your toenails out all the way and it starts to separate from the nail bed? What's that one called? Remember the nail bed being nail plate separating from the nail bed? What's that one called? There's 2 different names you could go with. Onycholiasis, right? You lay on the bed. Remember, you lie on the bed. Onycholiasis and onychomediasis. Remember, Medea fell off. The old lady fell off the bed. The nail plate fell off the bed. Onychomediasis. Those are 2 disorders that you can get from thinning down the nail plate of the toenail, and it's inside that shoe jammed up against it all the time. Okay? So, I'm going to let you guys do these nails on me one at a time. We're going to cut off our live and cut off our class for today, but that's what you guys, I want to see you guys do it on me. And then when your nails start to get raggedy, right? Remember, you got to soak all them off and do it again. Now you know how to do it. Okay? And how many soak offs do you guys have to do to graduate from this school? Did anybody look at it? I think it's like 10. You got to do 10 soak offs. So write them down.
Yeah, because I have.
You got to do 10 soak offs, right? So, they can see that. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the day, as far as soak offs, your manicures, and then whatever you got left to do on your stuff. Okay, tomorrow we're gonna be starting pedicures. So that's it. That's all I have for you today, y'all.